What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit. Spawning here, top right hand corner of Lost and Found LE, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's very well known and is continuing his growth and dominance in the StarCraft 2 Pro scene. His name is Lambo. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the blue Zerg pieces. He's also well known in the StarCraft 2 Pro scene, not quite as well known as his opponent, but still a force to be reckoned with. His name is True. So guys and girls, I'm very excited about this matchup between these two players. That was played at the WCS in Austin. Was a best of 5 series in the round of 16 of that tournament. And we all know that the ZvZ matchup is one of, generally speaking, a lot of mind games, and I'm really excited to kind of share these moments with all, because this was a best of 5 that I was not able to watch live at the event. So we're going to kind of go through and watch these together, and I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited about it. So it does look like True is going to go for that hatch gas pool opener to start the game, and then the same can also be said though for Lambo. So very similar in that production tab that you can see at the top left hand corner of the map. You can really see exactly what both players are deciding to do early on in the game, and a lot of times when the ZvZ matchup begins, there's generally speaking a lot of, I guess you could say the production tabs are generally speaking similar, unless there's some form of cheese going on from either opponent. That said, though, I'm excited to see what True especially does in this matchup. You know, so you're going up against one of the hot Zerg players out there. You know, this guy is really, Lambo's been playing absolutely incredibly well, and I would be excited. I'm excited to see kind of what True decides to do in this series, and really early on in the series. It does look like both players are going to decide to go for 2 queens, and then of course following that up with the metabolic boost upgrade, which of course is Zerg and speed upgrade. So very similar still on both sides of the map. Super similar on either end, and it looks like we might actually get ourselves a little bit of a macro focus game to start, at least early on here in the beginning stages. But as I said, you know, I love watching Lambo. He's a lot of fun to watch. He comes up with some really fun builds, and you know, this is a guy who can, you know, he's been able to go up against players like Cyril and Dark and some really good players out there on the circuit, and you know, really give them a run for their money and take maps off of some of the best players out there. So that's definitely saying something. And True is also a player who is you know, growing in popularity as well. You know, a lot of people really enjoy some of his play styles as well. But as this as we go here, it does look like we're starting to get some changes in the build orders. We're going to see a Baneling Nest coming out of True, and it looks like on the opposite side a Roach Warren's going to be coming in, as well as double evolution chambers for Lambo. So Lambo's going to go ahead and go for that full wall off of his natural hatchery. He's kind of delaying this third hatchery so far, so I'm wondering if he's going to get a little bit aggressive here at some point. Looks like instead of going for that natural, or I should say that third hatchery, he is deciding to go ahead and get the lair out. So we are going to see the lair, as well as those +1 upgrades are going to probably get started here. One's already starting out of that evolution chamber. So it looks like this drone is thinking about going for that third hatchery. But it looks like, just like that, going to go ahead and it's going to be kind of, you know, the thing about the ZvZ matchup, it starts getting really hard to control exactly what's going on all over the map, because there is just usually so much action happening everywhere. So it does look like Lambo is going to start moving out with some Zerglings. He's going to start moving. He's going to try to get a little bit of some action going early on. There are a couple of Banelings out, so you're going to have to be very careful. Beautiful Baneling hit there for True. Great way to start this game for True, as he is ahead of, as far as the economy is concerned, because he's already on that third hatchery. Looks like these Zerglings are going to start running towards that third hatchery at this point. They're going to get the surround on the Queen. Nice surround there. It's going to be kind of a little bit of an eye for an eye there. We're going to see Glad Reconstitution that is going to be researched for Lambo, and more of these roaches are going to be coming out as well. Glad Reconstitution is going to be started as well for True, and it looks like this third hatchery is going to be under a little bit of some pressure. These Zerglings are going to, thought they were going to try to get the surround on a couple of those roaches, but nonetheless, we are going to see these Zerglings as well as Banelings moving in. They want to do a little bit of some damage to this third hatchery that's going down for Lambo. It's about to go down here very, very shortly. Lambo's got a pretty nice defensive structure going on here with, of course, roaches as well as queens that are going to be very helpful, it looks like, in this defensive game so far. It seems on both sides of the map. Now it looks like they are going to try to maybe get an angle, get a couple of drones for their troubles. There you go. And True is gonna, try to, and that's the biggest ordeal when it comes to this matchup. You really want to kind of, as far as getting that necessary, of course, aggression that you're going to need at some point in the game, but it's also important to be able to, keep tabs on what your opponent's doing, because information and of course, scouting is probably one of the most important aspects of StarCraft 2, and we can all probably agree to that. But nonetheless, it does look like both players giving each other a good amount of respect, at least early on here. Lambo is supply blocked at this point, so I wonder if he must have lost an Overlord or something. But Burrow is being researched by both players. Both of these players, look at this. So we're about the 6.5 minute mark now, and just look at how similar the production tab is. Looks like these Zerglings are going to try to run down and go ahead and get a couple of drones. Looks like a couple of these drones were already weak, and so they are going to just keep going after those drones. Beautiful play here by True. I actually do like that run by a lot. And so it's just going to kind of, delay Lambo somewhat. He's going to have to continue, droning up, and True is starting to kind of build a little bit of a nice economy. Now, of course, Lambo is not out of this thing just yet, and that goes without question. But it definitely does hurt when you're losing some drones here and there. So Lambo, or I should say True, one thing I feel that's very important when you're playing this matchup is to, one, of course, know exactly what your opponent's doing, but number two is to consistently put on aggression. When you're going up against the best players in the world of StarCraft 2, like someone like Lambo, who's very good at StarCraft 2, of course, one of the best Zerg players out there in the world, you absolutely, without question, need to put aggression on. Because if you allow him to dictate the pace of the game, you could basically, you're going to make it very difficult for yourself to obtain a victory and win even one map. So that said, it does feel like True's been playing this very well so far, and it looks like he's got some roaches as well as Ravagers that are going to be out. We have some roaches that are starting to move in towards that third hatchery location. It looks like they're probably going to go ahead and pop up, and they're going to start trying to go after some of those drones. At the same time, more roaches are going to be moving in to what looks to be that main base location. Very interestingly played here. Observer came out in the nick of time, though, and it does look like they're going to back off, though. Some of these roaches, though, are going to be in the main base location. They are kind of just waiting as so much action's going on all over the bases of True. And True is, it looks like he's trying to clear this thing up, but these roaches are being an absolute nuisance all over the place. Beautiful played here by Lambo, as he is, he's doing a really good job. He's getting a lot of value out of these little handfuls of roaches. Looks like they are going to get cleared up, though, at least at this point. And you gotta give some credit there to Lambo. And while this has all been going on, he's going on to his fourth hatchery at this point. Now, fourth hatchery's already finished up for True. So True has been kind of a step ahead throughout the course of this game so far. But I gotta say, you gotta give some props here to Lambo, really trying to kind of split up True's army. And Lambo's been playing this, a nice little counterattack there. I think that was a really nice counterattack. Looks like Nemetized Carapace is going to be coming in very shortly for True, as it already finished up for Lambo. And more roaches, and we're seeing Ravagers coming in now. So this is kind of what looks to be what these players have decided to go for. And it's interesting because you, generally speaking, will start with, a lot of times you'll start with, of course, Zerglings, and then you'll move into banelings, and then of course a lot of times you'll move into roaches and then ravagers, and then, you know, hydras, of course, a lot of times will come after that. But it looks like this army is going to pounce right on top of True's smaller army, obviously, of roaches and ravagers, kind of throwing True a little bit off guard. Here we go. It does look like Lambo's got a nice edge now over his opponent. I gotta be very careful. The question is he going to overextend here? He's going to go after that that fourth hatchery, and it all comes down to the micro. Who has got the better micro game? It does look like Lambo wants to get this fourth hatchery, but is he overextending? True is trying to pounce on this army, at least at this point, and now we have a back and forth engagement. It looks like Lambo got a little bit too much, at least at this point. Got to be very careful, though. The overextension could be absolutely catastrophic to Lambo. It's a very close engagement, though. Extremely good biles by both players. But just like that, it looks like Lambo holding off just a little bit longer. Got to be patient here. As we approach that 11-minute mark, he's going to split up his army, and it looks like he's going to start trying to, you know, do a little bit of some damage on multiple angles, and it looks like True is going to start coming after his opponent, and oh, he's chasing his opponent, but at the same time, you got to look at exactly what's going on and the natural main base locations. This was a diversion for what's coming in the natural and the main base location. A lot of damage is being dealt here. There's a lot of drones going down, and this is exactly what Lambo wanted to do. Confuse and outsmart his opponent. But on the opposite side of the map, here comes True. He's going after bits and pieces of this army, as a lot of his army, which is Lambo's, is across on the opposite side of the map. Here we go. It's going to come down to the micro and the strength in numbers, as True is trying to go after all these units. He's smelling blood. He wants to take out this. Of course, he wants to win right here, right now. You can just tell. Was there a little bit of an overextension there by Lambo is the big question. And it does look like the fourth hatchery has gone down, and it does look like there is going to be a little bit of a surround here once again by Lambo. But it's all going to come down to, once again, the micro. And it, you know what? I got to say, after both attacks, so, you know, one attack by Lambo and then the counterattack by True, I'd say we're pretty well squared up at this point. I mean, it really feels that way. Now, the one thing that's positive for True at this point is that this hatchery, which is the fourth hatchery, is still alive. Not really doing too well at this point, but it's still alive. And it does look like Lambo wants to come after this hatchery. He wants to take it out right now. And it's just more, all we're seeing on the production tab is more and more roaches being added to the mix here. So, very interesting play by both players. Roaches, Ravagers, here we go. Lambo wants to take over this game, and he is going to swallow this army, at least at this point. Now, there is a little bit of an army on the backside for True, and it looks like there is a question mark as to, is there going to be enough here for True to be able to take out the rest of this army? He's trying very hard, but oh my god, the amount of damage that's coming in here. It does look like True's supply is plummeting, and Lambo is trying to get the surround, but oh my god, it's so close. I think it was smart for Lambo to move away at this point and not try to overextend once again, because that could absolutely spell disaster. But I gotta say, a very cheeky move here, you know, with the burrow on the drones. But, you know, it's one of those things, guys, that Lambo now, it feels, is definitely in control of this game. He is going to go ahead and he's retaken that fourth base. And as of, you know, right this second, it just feels like True is going to be forced into an all-in here shortly, I feel. It's one of those things where I cannot see it really happening any other way if he wants to you know, he needs to kind of go an eye for an eye here and do some damage on the opposite side of the map once again. It does look like there are going to be some roaches that are going to start moving here, but you gotta wonder. I mean, it's a matter of time, it feels like, for Lambo to obtain victory, right? I mean, there's so it's just very interesting on both sides of the map how this game is kind of unfolding as we approach that 15-minute mark. It does feel that there's moments where each player has definitely had opportunities to overtake the other, you know. And so very, very interestingly enough, though, as you know, we pass that 15-minute mark, who is ahead? I mean, if you ask me, obviously, if you look at the supply counts, Lambo is certainly ahead of the supply. And I think he did that last engagement definitely. It feels like he was able to take a nice lead against True. But the thing is that True is certainly not out of this thing just yet. He's still in this thing, but I think he's got to make some drastic moves here, and I think he's trying to do that right now. It looks like he's going to go after this third hatchery, and there's a pretty nice-sized army that's going to be moving with not much defense at the fourth base, and it's going to go down just like that. Here we go. The counterattack is happening on the opposite side of the map. Are we in for a possible base race? It just looks like Lambo has a significantly larger army than that of True. But True, it looks like he's going to try to take on this army head on, at least at this point. And it looks like he is going to start moving all the way back home. He's going all the way back home as some of these important tech structures are going to be under significant fire at this point. And so, just like that, True is just, I feel like True, he's trying to buy some time so that he has an opportunity to get back in this game, but it looks like it's going to be kind of tough because there is just a lot. A really nice supply lead for Lambo at this point in the game. I mean, one small thing could turn the tides of battle, but I just don't know, guys. I just don't know. It's hard to tell at this point who's really gonna have the edge. And I mean, Lambo now is transitioning to that Spire, and you got to think that he's definitely gonna be in control once that Spire goes through, because we're not really seeing anything like that coming out of True. He's not really going after, you know, going up to a hive and giving those higher tier hive base units. So I don't know. Man, what an intense first game though in this series. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun watching games like this. And, you know, a lot of times in the ZvZ matchup, you'll have some macro focus games, but a lot of times you'll have, you know, the cheesier builds, right, that a lot of players go for. And so it's going to be interesting nonetheless to see how this game's going to unfold, because at this point, True is not taking that fourth base back yet, and Lambo is taking it back. So, you know, he's going to be on 4 bases. He has you know, as far as the supply is concerned, Lambo is in control. But, I mean, you know, it's just one of those things. Any engagement here, any poor engagement by either player could really be the end, right? And I think that this Mutilus switch could be the big point in this game, because True has no idea this is coming. And we're talking a lot of Mutilus are going to be coming out now, and they're going to wreak havoc to this army here. And so it's gonna, you know, it's gonna really come down to the micro of both players. But I mean, with these mutas moving across the map, man, this is gonna get very interesting, because the Mutilus are gonna try to find this army, and they're gonna try to have their way and go by the level of surprise that they want. And it looks like they're going to try to corner them. Oh my, beautiful. This is going to be crazy, because it does look like Lambo is going to make the perfect setup to go ahead and swallow this army alive, as all these Roaches and Ravagers are going down in a matter of seconds. There is still a few units still here. You got to be very careful how you deal with this. But the Mutilus switch, absolutely brilliant. True. His supply plummets, and GG is called, and Lambo takes game number 1 with some very intense micro, some great macro in this first game, and then the beautiful Mutilus switch, which sealed the deal, where Lambo now goes up 1-0. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Lambo and True, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.